Not just they're like compulsive liars, they're extremely good at it. Lying, it just seems so normal to us, like, oh, I'm just lying. But lying, especially when you're in a power of position, it can destroy people. It can give you hope that never existed, expectations in your mind that are never gonna come to fruit. It's just a man who's obsessed with sensationalism. He's obsessed with
exactly like
he's just wants to take credit for things that he didn't do, and this is just so American. That's all I can say. When you have 5,000 sources of which are collecting your data, they know which brand of underpant you're wearing.
Exactly. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. From Jogeshwari to EU Parliament, Gaurav Singh has been busy, leading student rescues, launching startups, and somehow still finding the time to travel the world. He runs the Poland's first Indian student union. He's a digital marketer with a cape, a B2B founder on fire, and yes, he's one of my best friends here. So Gaurav, how's life? How has it been?
Life's good. Been trying, hustling, just hoping for a few good things to come by. So yeah, just cruising along, just watching life pass by.
You have a lot of different career paths. You work in a company, Nielsen. You are an entrepreneur. You travel a lot. You do political campaign marketing, digital marketing. Let's say we met at a bar. Which is very plausible. How would you describe your work to me?
I just
What are you most passionate about? Like which one?
To be honest, any kind of work from where I can actually see real-time impact, that excites me a lot. That's also one of the reasons, like you named a few different career paths, like I have. Every single one of them literally drives me, because I feel when I'm working in these industries or in these markets, or with the people I'm working with, I feel that the kind of work I'm doing, I can see like some real world impact on it. So for example, if I'm working with some politicians, like you say, I work in political strategy, making strategy for politicians. These are policymakers. Sometimes it's extremely funny to me, because a lot of politicians themselves don't know what a politician does. A politician basically means a person who makes policies, which a lot of them are very, very far away from, especially in India.
Especially in India.
Yeah,
exactly.
Being a politician has many different definitions. So, but when I'm working with them, I feel that if I'm advising them on some campaigns, on some even, let's say, policy making, because it can be influenced by their strategy, I can see it being implemented in real time, affecting people in real time, which drives me a lot. But I would definitely not give you such a long and boring introduction if you ask me that in a bar.
Yeah.
I would just say I'm just trying to gobble up corrupt people's money and living my life on it.
That's a very Noble Hood, Robin Hood thing to do. That's amazing, Gaurav. I mean, how did you end up in politics? Like, how do you just go that deep into to see the strategies and all that? Like, where did it start?
I don't think I ever planned this out to do. I started really young into this, and I think I didn't even realize that I'm entering this world.
How young were you?
I was the first political campaign of an election that I handled for a politician.
I was 12.
No, I was actually 8 years old. No, I was 18 years old when I handled my first political campaign. But I entered this world because in my house in Mumbai, where I grew up, every single morning, the only thing that's on TV as soon as we wake up is some kind of political news, and everybody is just consuming it like their favorite dessert.
So you were basically fed into...
Yeah, so I was always very, very interested in this. Like, I definitely preferred watching it. I enjoyed it. I was like, this is so dramatic. Especially, Indian politics can be
It's the most dramatic thing ever,
yeah,
guys.
it comes with a bit of spice. So it's
a bit of spice is an understatement.
yeah, and especially because it's not like the Western politician dressed up in a very formal attires talking about things that politicians should be talking about, but it's a bit of a haywire. It's funny, it's entertaining. So I was really interested in it, and I remember I knew this politician, and I was trying to search him on the internet. I was like, why doesn't he have a Wikipedia page? He's a big politician. So that's the first thing I ever did was like make a Wikipedia page for him, and I showed it to him, and he was like, oh wow. And back then a lot of politicians weren't aware of this whole,
that they could have pages,
like the whole
scenario,
the whole digital scenario and impact it can have or like help them in politics.
Right.
So that's how I entered, and I was just 16 when I made the Wikipedia page for this politician, and that was a politician I ended up handling my first political campaign for. So yeah,
that's how you stepped in, right?
Yeah, that's how I stepped in. I just like grew. It went on from making a Wikipedia page to making making their social media accounts to like making campaigns for them online, and they all took it very lightly. They were like, yeah, there's some just kid who wants to do it, why not do it, what harm can it do? But later, I think with the impact of social media also grew, they realized like, okay, this is like a big part of my social outreach.
So basically, let's go back a little bit. So earlier political campaigns used to happen from distributing posters, airing on TV, advertisements, mostly word of mouth. But right now, because of the introduction of all the digital technology, the exposure to social media, posts, and many, like, these channels are so powerful that you could just post one picture and it could be shown to millions of people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is basically a revolution in spreading these political awareness, right? Now, it cannot all be honey and roses. So how would you describe, Gaurav, that how this political scenario is being boosted by social media? Like, how impactful is it really? Or it's just, something that's like an
I
add-on?
think 90% of the elections anywhere in the world right now are fought and campaigned on social media, on screens. I always tell this to people when they ask me, you can put up a huge poster on the side of a road and someone will just pass by looking into their phones and not even notice a big ass billboard. So it's much more important to reach that screen rather than that like a big poster on the side of the road.
Exactly.
So the way elections were fought, let's say like 10 years ago, or even like 5 years ago, is very, very different from how it is today. Most of the campaigning, most of the narrative that is set is done through the digital platforms, is done like the whole of your perspective building, your own character building as a politician or as a political party or as an organization is done online. I mean, if you think about it, what's the purpose of addressing a big rally with 100,000 people? Because you want your message to reach to 100,000 people. Now, if you can do that by sitting at home, of course, minus all the infrastructure, of course, it's good to look at. It's a good show. It's like a show of power, how much actual support I have on ground. So it's never gonna go out of fashion.
Right. I mean, it serves a purpose, and it serves a purpose.
Really okay, well, look, 100,000 people want to come out of their homes to just look at me speak, or they support my party. So it's good for optics, but it doesn't mean it converts to votes. And at the end of the day, you can gather 1 billion people who can come out and look at you, but if they don't vote for you, it's not going to be
It's all meaningless, because right after the election, you're just out of it.
Yeah. Right. So it's meaningless. So now it's very simple. Like, for example, we can sit here, make a video, and with some tricks or whatever, you can make it reach to 1 billion people.
Yeah, I mean,
and if your content is good, sometimes it doesn't even take effort. If it's just good, it reaches people and it just fulfills your purpose. And there is a lot of data science that goes, there's a lot of work that goes behind it. People think, oh, like everybody's usually like, oh, politicians, like, you know, they're stupid, blah, blah, blah. I think it's one of the amount of work and people involved behind making a one person's campaign is immense. It shocks people. I've had friends recently, last year there were the general elections and also the local state elections. And one of my friends actually, he was interested. He was like, oh, let me come see actually, because he knows that I do this political strategy, marketing and stuff. And he came to our office to see, and he was just utterly shocked of how much precision there is, how many people are involved, how much different modules are being taken care of. It's absolutely haywire. But like that's what excites
Right.
me.
So to make it a little bit more understandable for a person who has no idea about political campaigning, what, like, how does it begin? Give me like 4 or 5 steps. Okay, you do this, and then ultimately the result is either the guy wins or he doesn't. So where do you start?
Let's say I'm doing your political campaign.
All right.
Okay, like Dipanshu for president. I don't know.
For president,
yeah,
yes.
For president, exactly.
Polish president, actually.
Okay, sure.
Still learning the language,
Sure.
but let's say,
Sure.
step by
You
step.
have to
yeah.
go beyond Dzień dobry if you want to become the president of Poland. So
That's a good start. That's a very good start.
Yeah.
So step number 1.
So let's say you want to become the president of Poland. The very first step is I sit down with my team, and I just let you do what you really love to do in front of the camera. I'll just let you yap. I'm like, okay, there'll be me and my team just noting it down. So what are your goals? What do you want to become? Where do you want to fight the election from? Which area? What's the demographic of your area? And it's not like we are not going to check later. We just want to know what you think about the people where you're going to go elected. Basically, what are your goals? What election do you want to fight? Who do you think is your major opponent? So just like note down all the details.
Right, all the prerequisites
That's
and
step
requirements.
one.
And
Yeah,
all.
I'm just going to give you in 5 simple steps. The second step is we have a big surveying team on ground.
How big?
In Mumbai, we have on standby at least 100 surveyors
Okay.
that are on ground. But we do like smaller pockets. We have done surveys for all of Mumbai, so for some different cities too. But so we'll send some surveyors on ground, which will go on, and there's a method of survey. I'm not going to get into details, or it's going to eat up a lot of time. But they'll be going on ground. They'll be surveying the people about the opinion about you, opinion about the party that you're in, opinion about the party minus you, opinion about the party in that area
Itself.
plus you.
Like mutually exclusive opinions.
So a lot of different like data points. What's the biggest issues? What's the what are the factors that actually people will vote on? So there could be a region where, for example, cleanliness is a very big factor, but there could be another region in your same constituency which the issues there would be completely different. There might be crime could be an issue and not cleanliness, or like a good hospital, like healthcare could be an issue and not. So we gather all this data. What we need to make any campaign, I think not just politics, any campaign you need a lot of data.
Right.
And we don't trust any other, so we send our surveyors. That's step 2. Step 3 is we feed all of this data into our system, our very own software that we have. And it basically simplifies it for us. And
So it's basically a data analysis software.
yeah, like a data analysis software, basically. And we give it like an APK app on your phone, and it will be so easy. So if you are going, let's say, to Ohota, you could like open your phone, you could like check, put in the street you're going to, and it will give you, okay, who are the 3 community leaders here? What are the top 3 issues? What are the election results from the last elections in this particular region itself? What does our survey say? So just you can like take a look before you're on the way to Ohota, and you will know what to speak about.
Right.
You know what's going to resonate with those people. So 3rd step is data analysis. 4th step, then we sit down and start designing the campaign. So basically we create your manifesto, we create what kind of programs you want to do, what kind of community events we want to do, what kind of interactions we want to do. And in India, politics gets really dirty. So I don't know if I can say it on camera, but there's a lot. It's very intricate. It's like So it's almost like sometimes you have to send people in the other campaigns to see what they are doing. If we just had a campaign, we have like people reviewing, like just going around asking on a tea stall, like, oh, what do you think about that? And there's a lot of like
general opinion collection.
general opinion collection, also feeding. So we
okay,
are
okay.
seeding. So you know how it is in India, for example. Like you are on a tea stall, just sitting, and you're like, oh, what do you think about this guy? But we'll have a guy on purpose who'll be like, oh, I think Dipanshu is good for this. He wouldn't even know you.
So basically, he's
but he's planting that idea in people's head. And the fifth is execution and consistency. So we have to run your campaign, execute it as we planned, and it has to be consistent. And when you're running a political campaign, there are no days off. There is no Saturday and Sundays. There is no 9 to 5 or 5 to 12.
It's
all the time. You are locked in. Your only aim is on the day when the votes are counted, it needs to go past the threshold.
Until they buy or they die.
Yeah, basically. So that's what's exciting. So this is like the basic idea. And there's a lot that goes behind executing these 5 steps.
I mean,
but this is like the basic.
Even to summarize it, it's like we could just like talk for an hour about this one.
Yeah.
I just want to know a little bit more about the execution part. Like, how do you actually execute? You start posting social media posts, or you execute it on the ground? Or like it's a combination of both?
It's a combination of both, but I think recently it's getting more and more focused on, on the digital side. So, for example, I can give you an example of what we did in the last election. This guy who was supposed to fight the elections, there is a big fisherman community there.
In Mumbai?
In Mumbai, in that place where he wanted to fight the election.
Okay.
Now, you can do 2 things. You can invite or create an event where he's communicating with all the fishermen, and you can go out and do this effort of gathering all the fishermen, all their timings, their personal time, they catch all the fishes, your votes, gather them at one place so that like they can sit and hear what ideas he has, and that can get very traditional and boring. What we did was we asked a couple of fishermen. We were like, we want to actually see how you fish. We want to see what a day in your life looks like. And he will come along with you so that he can live that life with you for a day and like see it firsthand, what kind of hardships you go through.
Yeah.
And it was extremely surprising for us. It's like as good as like going to a market and you buy fish and that's it. That's all. But we went on the boat, and of course we were recording this with like mics on people, and it was just normal, genuine conversations that they were having. So we went into the sea, they were fishing, they show us how they lay down the nets in a very big area. It was in the Arabian Sea, off the coast of Mumbai. And it was so hard because they did like a shorter version for us because of time constraints, but we had the net laid out for like 5 hours, and there was just so less fish that we caught, but we still caught. And then, of course, they started talking about the issues they have, like how it's not regulated, like about their health insurances and this, that. And it was just very, very genuine. It was very, very natural. And when we put out that video, it went absolutely viral. And not just in the fisherman community in that area, just in general in the fisherman community along the coast of Mumbai, just everywhere. And people were just genuinely like, wow, okay, someone's like taking interest. I actually went and saw firsthand. So that resonated better
than to collect all the fishermen and then give a boring speech and then just like give them some tea or something like that. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
This kind of gives us a perspective on how powerful this social media can actually be. And if you guys really think about it, politicians need exposure to win. And the best way to expose yourself, the brain doesn't really understand the difference between if you're seeing something in person or if you're imagining it. It's basically the same thing. And if you think about, people are spending more than 6 to 8 hours. I mean, go look at your screen time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like you're just seeing the information and in the comfort of your bed, you're seeing this person is doing that good thing. And you don't have to stand in the sunlight or, you know, just like wait for some freaking drinks or everything. So this is what it is. But there is a dark side to it, Gaurav, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, when we are talking about, as you describe politicians being policymakers, They are making anything but the policies, because it's the bureaucrats that are making the policies. I mean, speaking some sense into their heads. What politicians might be really good at is compulsive lying. And to
Yes.
talk about compulsive lying, I mean, who better to ask than you? Like, do politicians compulsively lie? Answer is yes. But how does it work?
I think a lot of people compulsively lie, but I think politicians, they're like compulsive liars, they're extremely good at it.
They are the apex predators of compulsive lying sport.
Exactly. And you know, lying, it just seems so normal to us, like, oh, just lying. But lying, especially when you're in a power of position, it can destroy people.
Yeah.
It can give you hope that never existed. It can give expectations in your mind that are never gonna come to fruit, and it can destroy people. And I think, yes, politicians are compulsive liars, but you know, especially I think it was much easier before to like lie about something, garner some votes, and then you're off. Like you're not gonna see the people for 5 years, or you know, maybe sometime. But now, especially if you're in public space, there is nothing called personal life. You're always in the eye of the camera. You're always on social media. There's always with a phone recording you. You will be asked questions. You will be asked to answer. You will be asked to give a reason. Yeah. And you can't escape it. If you want to be in public life, you can't escape it. So, you know, they are finding it uncomfortable now, because like they want to lie. They want to still lie a lot, but now they're more scared of it. But like when we work with politicians, we just genuinely, I mean, a lot of them are like, okay, we can, you know, I have this idea, I wanna make, I don't know, I wanna make a dam that's gonna power all of Mumbai for free for the rest of eternity. I'm like, yeah, right, that's not gonna happen, so we're not gonna do it. But I think they're so used to compulsive lying, I think they believe it themselves. Like they believe what they're saying, but it's obviously a lie, but they believe it.
You tell a lie 1,000 times, even you start to believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said they're like scared of lying. Is it because of the steroidal effect on their popularity on social media? Like, why are they afraid now? What has changed?
That's why there's so much juicy drama when it comes to politics now, just because of social media.
Love me some juicy drama.
Yeah, because like someone is gonna like come up to you, and I can give you an example. I'm not gonna name any politicians or political parties.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Then if you disappear one day, then
I mean, that's why I'm in Poland. I don't know, and I'm heavy. It will be hard to pick me up and make me disappear.
Not
anyway.
for the politicians.
Yeah, not. I mean, but yeah, that's why I'm not gonna name any. But I think people will understand what I'm talking about, especially the Indians.
Yeah.
There was an ex-party and a politician from an ex-party which I was working for, and this party is known for its extreme stances, not very extreme, but like
very radical point of view.
A little radical stance on, like say like things like religion and community and stuff like that. But this politician I was working with was moderate, at least he seemed progressive, blah blah blah. But you know, all these big national parties have their narrative set from their headquarters, and it spirals down to people. So even if you don't want to adhere with it, you have to kind of stick to the party line. And we designed their campaign, we were executing it. And then he had some ideas in one of our brainstorming sessions where he was like, you know, we need to combine an X religion votes together so that the other religion B, which is smaller, combines together, you know, so that I get this a big chunk that stays together and votes for me. And we were like, okay, that's still not very problematic. We can do it in ways like you can talk about.
Can be done.
Yeah, like you can talk about. But then he was like, wait a minute, I have an idea. And that idea included him wanting to run ads on some videos, which were not from there. But he was like, you know, it can be like half truth. We don't have to tell them that it's not from here, but we won't tell them specifically that it's not from here. Let people guess. And they wanted us to propagate this video, and it would have created a mess. The video was a bit
did you guys do
problematic.
it?
No, of course not.
So it's like unethical in a way, right?
I mean, that particular thing was, in my opinion, could have gotten so messy that it could have led to small riots in that area.
That's never good.
And to be honest, even if it's about money or anything, but like if one person, let's say there are riots or like, and in India it can happen. Like we do sometimes, people have like a mob mentality. Like it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But even if one person is seriously injured
or
worse,
dead,
the
blame kind of comes on.
I mean, it would be on my conscience. So
yeah, I mean,
I
the
don't know how
politicians. I don't think the politicians really would mind any blame on their consciousness, anyways. But I do get your point, Gaurav. It's like it's a very slippery game. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, winning and money is obviously why you are in. You're not there for charity, but where to cross the line and where to not do is because. Obviously, when it comes to compulsive lying and slipping up on ethical boundaries, politicians are they need to win, no matter the cost. I mean, their life is, as you said, that it's not private anymore; it's public. And the way, I mean, obviously, what you did is not to support all of these things. And even one injury, any sort of economic damage or any sort of reputation damage, it's just not worth any amount of money that you can ever get.
It's not worth any amount of money, and that's why like this compulsive lying is bad. It has repercussions, and whoever does it, it's gonna come back to you.
Yeah, it's gonna bite you in the ass.
It's gonna come back to you. You're gonna be standing in a court one day somewhere.
As Jordan Peterson said that he has never seen anybody get away with anything. And when it comes to low stakes,
you're quoting. You're quoting some great minds.
Yeah, absolute legends of the field. Anyways, but when it comes to I think I lost my chain of thought. But Jordan Peterson, thanks again, dude. You took it away.
I just thought you got distracted by me.
I just got distracted with the amazing amount of value that I'm getting here. And anyways, Gaurav, when it comes to compulsive lying, when the stakes are really low, for example, if I could lie to you, your watch is it's Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah.
Tommy Hilfiger.
That's not even a lie. You're just giving a fact.
No.
Like your watch is Tommy Hilfiger.
Your watch is not Tommy Hilfiger. The stakes are low. Nobody cares. But when you're in a position of power, a small lie can have sort of a butterfly effect, which might cause so much damage that you just, it just becomes uncontrollable at a time. And when you find out that you did it, or maybe your agents did it, it's just a bad way. One more thing about Tommy Hilfiger. You know how they got famous?
No, they were my client. That's why they got famous.
Yeah. See, guys, if you want to be famous, go to this guy. And if I'm gonna be ever famous,
it's because of me.
Anyways, so there was this luxury brand marketing. You are all about digital marketing and stuff like that. So we are going to put a little bit from politics to actual marketing, because there were Louis Vuitton. Can you name me some other luxury brands?
Gucci,
Armani, all the Balenciaga is relatively new. So when Tommy Hilfiger started, they put up guess the brand names. So they put Louis V and then Balenciaga . So and in the fourth part they put themselves. And fashion critics were they're like, what the fuck are you really doing? You're not a luxury brand, but that was enough to gain attention of the people. And when they actually launched the store, they actually came out as a premium brand and with zero marketing. And that's the power of marketing, guys. Let it be digital or posters. That old school thing.
I mean traditional or online. I think that there's also a very interesting story about Bumble, the dating app. Where in the start, when it was just a startup and they wanted to market it, they went around different university campuses putting up posters saying that, for example, Tinder and Bumble not allowed to use. And nobody knew Bumble, but just because of
association.
But it was like, why are they saying no to this? And it just created more interest. And
exactly.
And
this is association in marketing. I think you're very well aware of it. Even if you show two pictures together, there might not be any connection between them, but we tend to associate it with so. For example, if you post a picture of a Jeep and then you post a picture of mountains, although they don't have anything to do with it, but people would think you went with the Jeep to the mountains. And that's how it goes, guys. So Do you, Gaurav, remember in 2016 there was this company called Britannica?
Yeah.
Cambridge
Analytica.
Cambridge Analytica. In
Britannica.
2006, yeah. Britannica's are biscuits, guys.
Biscuits, really good biscuits.
Really good biscuits.
Yeah, which is doing
Shout
some
out
free
to
marketing.
Britannica.
Yeah.
Shout out to Britannica. Anyway, so Cambridge Analytica in 2016 were driving political campaign. Were you related to them?
Yeah, I was actually in the middle of the scam. Yeah, I was actually in the middle of the scam.
And we finally got him here in this studio today.
That's why in 2016 it blew up, and in 2017
Exactly.
I came to Poland to escape.
When Gaurav was only
escape
6
the
years
hands
old,
of justice.
When Gaurav was only 6 years old, he was managing Britannica from his mom's basement.
It's Cambridge Analytica.
Cambridge
You
Analytica.
really want a sponsor for your next video.
Cambridge
Britannica,
Analytica.
if you're watching.
If you're watching, sponsor us because you have an awful lot of money anyways. So but something about that. It was also a political campaign agency, right? And it had ties with the US, Trump and all that. They were actually driving Trump's campaign, which he lost, by the way, but he was claiming that he didn't. Trump. Anyways, so and this company had ties with the British military, the royal family, and you name it. What they did was they basically borrowed a lot of data from almost 280 million people, which collected over 5,000 plus data points on each. Now, as much as we human beings tend to think of ourselves as very sentient beings and very rational ones, but we are nothing more than an algorithm. And if you have enough data points about anyone, you can predict their behaviors in a way. Way. So, and eventually it was shut down. I want to know, what do you think about it?
I think it's one of the biggest. I don't think people realize how crazy it was, just because it was being talked about in a lot like technical terms, and people don't really think like, okay, it was just data. Like, so to the people it concerned, like people who are aware about this, it was extremely big. But I think it's one of the biggest stories in recent history, because like you just said, 280 million people and data about them, and they were selling it to whoever needed it, basically.
Fuck knows who.
Yeah, basically like just bidding, like they were like, okay, bid it out for my data. And they were just selling it to the highest bidder, which is extremely, first of all, we don't realize how powerful data is. Like you said, data knows, like these algorithms, for example, these platforms, for example, Facebook, and it's accessible to you. You can go and check this like right now if you want. Like, you can go to a business suite of Facebook and you can see the amount of like attributes that you can give to find a certain set of people. The algorithm knows more about you than you know about yourself.
What you eat, what's your favorite book, what's your favorite movies, what time do you wake up? Everything combined. Like, why do you think ChatGPT is able to give you such amazing answers? Because obviously it's like a neural network which is solely depending on data. I mean, it can write an email for you. It could just like, I don't need to describe about ChatGPT, but similar is the case, 5,000 plus data points. And guys, that's the reason why your feed looks so personalized. And that's the reason why you laugh on those memes, because those are specifically tailored for your taste.
Yeah. And so Cambridge Analytica sold this data without telling this. That's why I think it was also one of the incidents that triggered a lot of countries to come up with laws, about how you process data, who owns the data, if you have the permission to share this data. But it was extremely disturbing because when you, like you said, when you have 5,000 different data points, and when people say, this is the genuine opinion people have when you say, okay, your personal data. They think, yeah, what's my personal data? It's my name, my email, my phone number. I don't know.
That's not even the surface.
Yeah.
It's like everyone can have that access.
Yeah, but that's what people think, okay, my personal data was sold. No, but when you have 5,000 sources which are collecting your data, they know which brand of underpant you're wearing.
Exactly.
They know what you're eating. They know when you go out to buy beer, which one are you more likely to buy. They know I don't know what
They
flavors condom you're buying.
Exactly.
They know every single thing about you. They know more about you than you know yourself, like we said.
They know which side of your pillow is cold.
Yeah, exactly. And if this kind of data is sold, you yourself don't know how you can be manipulated in ways you cannot imagine.
Yeah.
It can trigger emotions. You can be made to hate. I think hate is one of the biggest weapons people, like especially in politics, use, or in any case, like
Hate more like it's a very negative bias based. Whenever a negative information crosses your mind, it's 16 times more likely to impact than a positive one. And hate and love are two opposite sides of the coin. So that's the reason why you start anything with negative. Did you know, like when you start anything with a negative thing, it's more likely to stick with you because it goes back to our survival thing. Because if you have to remember a negative thing, so not to be damaged by it in order to survive. So that is taking advantage of our so-called rational human beings, but we are just limbic brains powered with a lot of prefrontal cortex power that are still trying to make meaning of this world.
yeah, I mean, like you said, we're also just algorithms. So
They're just basically algorithms.
if I'm feeding you some kind of some kind of content that's triggering emotions in you and not necessarily the good ones, it will stick with you, and then your confirmation bias comes into play, and now it's gonna confirm that fear or that reason that you have the hate for. Your brain will actively look for reasons that will confirm, will validate your emotion of hate.
Yes.
And then it just gets deeper. It
Exactly.
can change you as a person, and it was crazy.
And Gaurav, you would agree that the more time you're exposed to it, the more the neural connection becomes stronger. And later down, if any news comes, even to support the opposite hypothesis, you're not going to, your brain is automatically going to discard it. And that's exactly this company, what this company did. Cambridge Analytica. They were defaming the opposite side of politicians by showing, okay, he's involved in these prostitutes and he's involved in this drug scandal and all these. And when you see that, obviously, when you see some negative thing about one candidate, you would want to vote for the other one because they are going to appeal something that's inside you.
And that's how they use this data. So, for example, drug abuse would bother you a lot.
Not
so
me,
then, but like I'm just saying, someone or bother you a lot. Drug abuse would bother you a lot. So they would show you that like this particular politician is involved in some kind of a drug trade, and that would make you vote for him anyway. But like still, for some people, they wouldn't vote for this person, and and it was a lot of fake narrative. I think it's absolutely batshit crazy. Britannica did what Britannica did.
What Britannica did.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Britannica. It's a biscuit brand, guys. Like, Britannica.
They're manipulating your brains with their biscuits.
Yes, don't get manipulated, guys. Be careful.
Be careful.
Savdhan rahe. All right, Gaurav. Now I would like to pivot to something that's been recent and that's been full of, like, we are about to step into LOC.
We're going there. We're going into the murky waters.
We are going to step into some dangerous waters, but our duty here is not just to present our opinions or biases about this, because we are going to be absolutely factual about talking and discussing a very neutral perspective. I'm going to ask questions, he's going to ask questions, we are going to put out our points, and in no way, shape or form, we are going to have our own biases influence what we are going to talk about. And we are going to talk about, you guessed it, India and Pakistan conflict that has been rising. It all started in 1948, when Pakistan didn't get independence, but it was separated from India. A lot of people don't really know, I mean, whoever is going to watch this podcast, this is how it started. India and Pakistan were one country. When India got independence from the Britishers, it was divided into two. All of the Muslims were, provocated, or let's say told to just move on to Pakistan, which was led by Muhammad Jinnah. And Nehru was ruling India. Since then, just a little bit of backstory. Kashmir is a region which was occupied by Hindu, predominantly there were Hindu pundits there.
No, let me correct you there. Kashmir, that's the interesting part, where Kashmir was actually predominantly Muslim, The highest amount of Kashmiri Pandits that have ever lived in percentage of demographics has been only 4%. That was the highest when it was.
But the king,
But that's the thing. The king was a Hindu.
Yes.
But the population was predominantly Muslim.
Okay, so it was kind of ruled by this Hindu king. Anyways, things happened, and whenever this border distribution was taking place, India sends its military. I'm not going to get into extreme details. Pakistan sent that, and that created a sort of conflict zone between India and Pakistan. Pakistan claims that the Kashmir is its own. India claims that no, rightfully it's ours because it's our historic land. Anyways, in 1965, 1971, and 1999, there were 3 wars. All of those wars were initiated by Pakistan, and well, result is there. They lost all of them. And one of those, there have been a lot of terrorist attacks. Say 26/11, there were 150 people were killed by a guy called Kasab, and when he was captured alive, he actually said, the Pakistan actually denied all of the responsibilities of any sort of terror attacks, but when he was captured, he told that, I was trained in Pakistan. Osama bin Laden was also in Pakistan. And these are facts. I have no biases or any opinions. And Gaurav, whatever happened in like a couple days back, 26 of our civilians were killed. And it was also initiated by Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is a terrorist organization which has been training in Pakistan, which was led by Pakistani military. Couple days back, like day before yesterday, IMF granted $1 billion loan to Pakistan, and which will, well, you don't need to guess, which will go, a lot of that funding will go into training these things. Now, whenever 2 people are fighting, if one doesn't have anything to lose, he is going to bother the other one. India is a very prospering nation, it's growing. With all that thing, Gaurav, what's your opinion? Shoot us some facts, brother.
The thing is, it's just people living on either sides. The history has been sad between the 2 nations, and just to give a little bit more detail, when you were like talking about how the Kashmir issue came into existence, but the thing was that there was a Hindu king ruling over a predominantly Muslim population. Interestingly, there were a lot of princely states when India and Pakistan got divided and getting independent, and all these princely states were given an option. Either you can go with India, either you can go with Pakistan, or you can choose to stay independent. Initially, the thing was that the Hindu king wanted to go with Pakistan, interestingly, but the population wanted to stay with India. But ultimately, they decided that, okay, we're going to stay independent. As soon as Kashmir decided to be independent, Pakistani army infiltrated into Kashmir to occupy it, or whatever their motives were. But that's when the king of Kashmir came asking for help to India. And India gave them basically an offer that if you want our military intervention in Kashmir to protect you, you will have to merge Kashmir with India. And that is the document that is still holding up in the UN, which says that Kashmir is rightfully India's. In any case, coming to the recent conflict, a lot of people actually think, like he mentioned, he laid out all the details. There have been 3 wars. It has been brutal on people. There have been attacks, but a lot of people right now think that the recent conflict is about Kashmir. The recent conflict is, people are talking about independent Kashmir. That is absolutely ignorant, first of all. You don't know, like people don't know, and people in the West don't know the things about Kashmir. How has it been recently? Kashmir has seen the worst kind of violence in the 80s, in the 90s. And since the last 15, 20 years, Kashmir was somewhat peaceful. I know there have been army interventions, and there have been some human rights abuses on both sides, but you have to take some steps when you are dealing with something like terror. You have to take to take out something radical. You have to take some radical steps, and of course there is some damage that happens to the people who shouldn't be. But in any case, a lot of people think this conflict started after, like he mentioned, there was a gruesome, cowardly terrorist attack on on tourists in Kashmir, where 26 civilians died who were shot in cold blood, and they were asked about their religion before they were shot. Even a Muslim person died trying to save the people. But people think India's response is based on this one terror attack, and like he pointed out, a terrorist organization, Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is based out in Pakistan, openly functions there. One of its founders also openly runs a political party in Pakistan. The defense minister of Pakistan came on live TV and accepted that, yes, there are some proxy outfits that they use. You know exactly what I mean when I say proxy outfits. And they said they've been doing that dirty work for the US or the UK. But when a defense minister of a country comes out and accepts that they have been using proxy militant outfits, training terror groups, you know, it's hard to align with them. And India has been a big victim of terror. And it's not like because Pakistan was like, oh, they didn't invite us for an investigation, they just pointed the finger at us. This is not a response to one particular incident. It's not a response to the terror attack that happened on 22nd April 2025. 2001, the Indian parliament was attacked. Gunmen inside the Indian parliament shot, people killed. 2008, there were 11 terrorists crossed over from Pakistan, one of them caught alive, and he accepted. The media actually found his parents living in Pakistan, where he told everyone like where he trained and everything. 2016, attack again on an Indian Army airbase. 2019, again. And all these attacks, Pakistan was actually invited to come do a joint investigation. And this was yet another terrorist attack. It's very easy to talk about peace. Everybody wants peace. Nobody wants war. But it's very easy to sit calmly and do nothing when there is terror breathing down your neck.
It couldn't have been said more clearly. Despite all of these attacks, name one attack or any sort of activity that India has propagated on Pakistan, if Pakistan is acting as a victim here. Like, okay, everything is understood. Along with, in this attack that happened in Pahalgam, 26 people were killed who were civilians. I mean, I get it. There are always tensions between India and Pakistan border. And some soldiers, you would say that, hey, but, the civilians were killed. Okay, that gives you a reason to be mad, but no military were killed. The attack right before this one, a terrorist with a car run into a bus full of Indian soldiers. Yeah. That was the military. That was the answer of the military conflicts. Yeah. It's just really. I mean, Pakistan's army is sort of obsessed with taking India down. Like as I told you, 4 wars, terrorist attacks, proxy outfit attacks. You name it. I don't know why they do it. But we will talk about America a little bit, but I will just let Gaurav continue with this one.
I mean, I'm sure both the countries are obsessed with doing things to each other. I think in the end, it's the people who suffer on both sides. It's the people who are ruling Pakistan are at blame. There are 240 million Pakistanis. I'm sure not 240 million people don't want war. They're not actively thinking about terrorists and how to take India down, and we need to send people to kill Indians. And neither, it's on this side. It's not like all Indians are thinking all the time like, oh, we need to take Pakistan down. Everybody has their lives. Everybody is going on with their lives. It's people at loss. When terrorists cross over, they come on a suicide mission, and it's the people who die. When conflicts like this arise, places are bombed, your place is bombed, of course we're going to expect a retaliation. Something happens from there, and of course they will expect our retaliation. In the end, it's people who die. And people die because of big egos of men in the places of power.
Ignorance and the abuse of power.
But the kind of, the level of sinister activities that have been looked away by the people who rule over Pakistan, the government, the bureaucracy, their intelligence agency has openly accepted sometimes. And when there is you know what, this conflict could have played out in a very different way. Let's say there was a terrorist attack, like it happened. Pakistan could have, or the people who rule over Pakistan, they could have come on any media platform and say that there was a gruesome terrorist attack. People died. Our condolences are with the people who lost their lives. We condemn this, and we will take action on these terror groups, and they won't be spared because we have had enough. People on both sides have enough. I am pretty sure even people in Pakistan are victims of terror. There are bomb blasts, there's this and that, and this could have happened like this. They could have said, okay, we stand with you in this moment, like people lost their lives, innocent people lost their lives. Not a single time they condemned the attack. It was just straight away, it was like, oh no, India might have done this to their own people. It was
This is just
signaling.
so sad. This is just so sad. Not even talking about the nations, Gaurav. It's like, just from a very humanitarian perspective.
Yeah.
They should have just come online and maybe, okay, it was funded by them, it was organized by them, but from a perspective of humanity, they could just come out and say that, okay, it's just sad what happened. Yeah. But no. Talking about, the other day, Gaurav, you must have seen the tweet. America tweeted that, India and Pakistan, we sat together last night, and both of the countries have agreed to a ceasefire.
Which lasted 3.6 seconds.
3.6 seconds is less than what we last.
Yes.
Anyway, so America, well, obviously, we all know America. It plays on the sides. China was kind of funding Pakistan. Well, no surprises there. China is India's best friend, theoretically.
Yes.
Pakistan is also in love with India.
Yes.
So that money is coming to Pakistan from there. America, America wants to rule. Obviously, they are ruling right now, and the way it wants to rule, they are kind of halted this thing between India and Pakistan. It's not the first time, and I don't think it's going to be the last time in any upcoming days. This has been playing out for 4 or last 5 times. Always, Pakistan attacks, India does something, and then there is a ceasefire. Again, a couple of years later, you see a pattern. I mean, people could lie, patterns don't really lie. And so America kind of stopped this war, so later they could fund Pakistan, or they could sell weapons to India so that this conflict keeps on going.
Yeah, I mean, because war is good for business, right?
War is the best business.
But I mean, right now, with the man who's ruling over America, he's a big man-child. He's obsessed with sensationalism. He wants to be the big brother in the world. He's like, oh, I stopped these 2 kids from fighting. Look at me trying to bring peace. And to be honest, that was like the one moment of a unity between both sides of India and Pakistan, because when Mr. Trump tweeted that, oh, we have agreed to a ceasefire and we had talks all night and we have achieved this, both the countries were like, no, that didn't happen. It was just a call where you said, hi, how are you, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's just a man who's obsessed with sensationalism. He's obsessed with...
Exactly.
He's just wants to take credit for things that he didn't do. And this is just so America. That's all I can say.
He's more of a star these days. Like, I really miss the times when politics were a little bit boring. When people used to dress how they should dress in an Oval Office, when it used to be a little bit more boring, because this is not fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
You're not shooting a movie here and tweeting however you like. I mean, people's lives depend on you. You hold so much power to as much influence the daily livelihoods. You just go and put some tariffs. It's not you who are paying. It's the American people for whom the goods are becoming more expensive. Today, Trump tweeted that we are kind of coming to an agreement with China and whatnot. But Gaurav, you must also feel like this has been a dramatic, it's way more spicy. I mean, I like drama. I like spiciness, but
I mean, there is a lot of sources to consume drama. I don't need people who are influencing our lives in a very big way to give me drama. I think, like you said, you miss the times when it was boring.
A little bit, yeah.
Because it was serious, and boring is difficult. To do boring is
boring
difficult.
is the norm. Boring.
Yeah.
Serious things should be a little bit boring.
Yeah.
If you want entertainment, go watch
There's a thousand
TV
other-
series.
Yeah, there's 1,000 other
What
places.
TV series do you recommend, Gaurav? Bring it on.
Oh, I recommended you one which you really liked,
Yeah.
Succession.
Succession.
Yeah, it
If you
was
want,
really-
if you want drama, go watch Succession,
Go-
guys.
go watch
Shout out to Succession.
Exactly.
And if you wanted more drama, well, JD Vance, the boyfriend of Trump,
Stay
met-
away from JD Vance.
met the Pope
Yeah.
and gave him the opportunity to meet the God himself.
Yeah. He visited India and that's when the attack happened. I think he is a literal Satan walking in flesh and blood among us.
Yeah.
With the Midas touch. If he touches you, you're probably gonna blow
Yeah,
up
if you
or
see
something.
JD Vance, run the opposite
Yeah,
side, but
run-
it's just
run as
already
fast as
too
you
late.
if he saw you already, it's late.
Yeah, it's
if,
late.
If you locked eyes with him, it's gone. It's over.
You're gone.
So,
You're about to
leave
meet
your
your
goodbye
creator
note.
very soon.
I don't want to talk about JD Vance.
No, we are not going to talk
I
about it.
don't want to-
Otherwise, these cameras might blow up. So,
Yeah.
anyways, guys, we are almost on time. I mean, Gaurav, we have to continue these conversations a little bit more. I mean, an hour passed, and it feels like we have barely scratched the surface. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you have a lot more things to say. We can discuss by a lot, but coming back to the actual talks, dude. I personally, as a friend, I learn a lot of things from you. You inspire.
Same.
You inspire not just me, but a lot of young students. You have a lot more qualities that a lot of people can learn, but we all came from almost the same place.
Yeah.
And on a very serious note, what are some of the pieces of advices that you would like to give to the audience, young people watching, older people watching? Give us some golden nuggets of information here. I would just love to hear that.
I think I just like to think that life is simple.
Yeah.
People try to complicate it.
Yeah.
It's extremely simple being happy too.
A little whiskey helps.
Yeah, it's simple being happy, but it's extremely difficult to be simple. So
Was it Gautam Buddha?
no, that was from a movie. But I mean, you know what? If you want to do something, I really don't. For the job I do, I shouldn't be saying that. I don't really like planning a lot. Like noting it down on a piece of paper, like making a freaking plan, and all of this. Just if you want to do something, just go out and do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Shout out to Nike.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Exactly. Like don't think about it. Like when I was coming to Poland, I really the only thing I knew was like, okay, some crazy stuff happened here during World War II, and that is next to Germany. That's all I knew.
I knew how to install Uber app and come to Lozarski University. Just
Yeah,
two sentences.
and we just came. We were young, and
We were happy.
If you're looking for it, opportunities will find you.
Yeah.
So don't
Be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared, but like don't think about it a lot. Life is not that serious unless you live on the borders with Pakistan.
Yeah.
But but just do what you like. Just enjoy. If you are going there out like seeking and looking at fun things to do, opportunities will find you. It's impossible that it won't.
Also, on a side note, guys, Gaurav has a company called Pulse Digital Media. So if you're a politician and if you want to win, and I'm serious about that, contact this guy.
Exactly.
On the side note, this beautiful setting that you see around it, a lot of hard work actually goes into creating these podcasts. So if you're watching it or if you're listening it, a subscribe would mean a lot to me, and a special shout out goes to Mr. Daniel Witkowski, who owns this studio, and he's also taking up projects. So if you're interested, you can also go to mfcmedia.com, and I will just mention the link in the bio. And you could just if you want recording equipment, if you want to have recordings, you can just contact it. It was a pleasure, Gaurav. It was truly been magical.
It was really fun.
It feels like I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah, same here.
But
I think we are in love.
Yeah. Guys. Anyways, dude.
It was really fun. Like, share, and subscribe,
Like,
my
share,
man.
subscribe.
A lot of interesting
Thank you,
content.
everyone. I will see you on the next
Video
one.
sponsored by Pulse Digital Media.
See you guys. See you later, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.